Making a fresh pastry cream tart with strawberries is like making three completely separate things that could all fail, and yet you keep going because you want everything to be fresh and perfect. So I worked on the strawberries and then I buttered my tart ring. In the background is a silk pan, P-A-I-N. It's what I'm going to bake my tart shell made out of a sablé dough on. It gives it a little bit of air so it gets a little crispier. And the beautiful thing about this method for rolling out a tart shell is that it gets baked in the ring for about 15 minutes. Once it's cool, you pull the ring off and then you egg wash a cool, partially baked tart shell and then put it back in the oven, and then you bake to color. And the color is going to be shiny mahogany, like a well-oiled leather. Making tarts is no different than making a pie dough. It just means that you have to pay attention to every little detail. So you prick the cold dough, put it in the oven, and then before I egg wash it, I actually take a citrus grater and in one direction, I clean up the tart, because the beautiful thing about a tart is that it not only tastes great, but it's going to look beautiful. So it's really important that when you do an egg wash, you get every part, because once you bake it, all that mahogany shiny, if there isn't one area that's shiny, that's where the egg wash didn't go. And you also don't want to get drips of egg. I think that's gross. I'm going to be doing other videos digesting some of these techniques, but that's a pastry cream, pulling it out of the plastic in a very quick and easy way, stirring it up, and then putting it into the shell. Now, a fresh pastry cream fruit tart is meant to be made on the same day that it's consumed. It's sort of a go time dessert. You can have the parts separate, of course, but you don't want the strawberries to get too watery. You don't want to dry them out. You don't want your crust to get soggy and your pastry cream to get warm. So you have to keep moving. Now, I didn't look at anything online for inspiration, which I often do because it really does help you place the fruit a little nicer. But I wanted to stick with just the strawberries I got at the farmer's market. When you place them on the tart in the pastry cream, you don't want to push them. They will fall down. And as I learned during an exam once, don't cover up the edge of the tart shell. You worked so hard to make it pretty. Leave it the way it is. That's a little sucrage, not too much, just a little pretty dusting, and it won't dissolve. The tart shell should be tender enough for the fork and the knife. It shouldn't go flying across the table when you cut into it. The great thing about a good summer tart is that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts.